a legacy. At Legacy Lawn and Landscapes, we put more than 16 years of experience into your goals. We won't meet your expectations, we'll exceed them. We offer consultation, installation, maintenance, hardscapes, construction, and land clearing services. Owner John and Jamie Brewer with their team are dedicated to providing the highest quality landscape services to commercial and residential clients in Middle Tennessee. Service, teamwork, results. That's how you leave a legacy.
LUS is committed to our customers, from providing and maintaining energy-efficient utility services to friendly, helpful customer service. LUS is there. At LUS, we're always challenging everything we know, every day. We strive to improve efficiency and reliability while focusing on our responsibility to our customers and the community. It's our promise to provide dependable service to our customers every time. Because we don't just work in Lawrence County, we live here too.
At Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, we're proud to be locally owned and operated because we're not just a bank, we're family. When you call, you'll be greeted by a friendly representative who's ready to discuss your banking needs, as well as offer our competitive rates on CDs and money market accounts. Our loan decisions are made in-house and never sold to a secondary market because our commitment is simple. You matter to us. At Lawrenceburg Federal, we offer all the conveniences of larger banks with a personal touch. Join us at Lawrenceburg Federal Bank, where community, trust, and service come together.
Are you looking for the perfect refrigerator? What about a new stove, or washer, or dryer? It only makes sense to shop at the one place that specializes in appliances, top to bottom, big or small. And that's Kelly Appliance in Lawrenceburg. Kelly Appliance is home to all major name brands, including LG. LG makes life good with a full selection of refrigerators, cooking appliances, dishwashers, microwaves, and more, including appliances made right here in Tennessee. Family owned and family operated. Stop by Kelly Appliance on Jerry Street in Lawrenceburg today.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
And welcome to X Sports Today. AJ Good with Michael Marks as we're getting ready for everything going down in the world of college football and the NFL. Just me and you today. Taylor is moving into a new place in Huntsville, and Brian is off to the unknown, trying to find the ultimate warrior. No, we're just kidding. He's busy himself in Florence today. But, Mike, before we get into the football talk, we got a big Game 5 in Los Angeles tonight because, well, you would think the Dodgers would have all the energy coming out in game number 4. Nope, it was the Toronto Blue Jays offense getting big hits. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., his 7th home run of the postseason, hits a big 2-run shot off of Ohtani that kind of gave him the distance. Big 4-run 7th as a really attacked Banda? Yeah, they attacked Banda there in a big way, a little bit off of Ohtani as well. But big bats, really, really good pitching down the stretch, and they find themselves, hey, look, like I said, you just got to get it back to Toronto for Game 6 and 7. But if they can get it into Toronto with the lead, all you got to do is win 1 out of 2 at home.
Yeah, and funny enough, this is going to be the first MLB season of all time since we'll go back to Toronto at least for a Game 6 that the MLB season started and ended outside the United States. First game obviously was the Dodgers playing over in Cubs over in Tokyo. But yeah, I mean, just an incredible bounce back game from Toronto. I mean, you have that feeling. You go 18 innings and only score 5 runs that
Right.
you were gonna need to get to LA's bullpen, and obviously got rid of Shohei after 6 innings, and did hit him up pretty well, and then obviously got to the bullpen, did some work, and that big 7th inning for Toronto really was the difference in this one.
I mean, they're just so scrappy, but they're doing what other teams fail to do. We can talk about the Red Sox. We can talk about the Yankees, the Brewers when they need it. We can talk about the Cubs, the Phillies. Their big players are making big plays
Yes.
right now.
Yeah, and that was the crazy thing through the playoffs, that it wasn't the big guys for these teams. That it wasn't the Bryce Harpers or the Kyle Schwarbers making big plays for Philly or for Boston, the Alex Bregmans and guys like that. And now for you look at the Blue Jays, sure they have some of the lesser known names, but Vlad Guerrero's playing awesome. Addison Barger, he's been an all-star this year. He's been awesome. Alejandro Kirk. The guys like that you expect to be big in these games have been huge. And then they also got a great start from Shane Bieber, which was huge.
Yeah, we're looking at a bit. What are the probables for tonight?
Looks like Game 5 will probably be Trey Savage versus Blake Snell. So back to the top
Okay.
with the Aces, and
I mean, they lit up Snell.
Yeah.
But we'll see what Snell can do in his home ballpark, which that will be tonight. Looking forward to that. So let's flip on over to college football here, Mike, and it's CUSA in the Sun Belt dominating the midweek, but tonight we got Jacksonville State at MTSU, FIU and Missouri State. Jacksonville State still 3-0 in the league. Done pretty good in the Rich Rod transition, and then a surpriser, Missouri State, first year in FBS. They're 2-1 in CUSA, and they can win tonight. I mean, these are two of the teams that are kind of climbing up there in the standings.
Yeah, I bet Missouri State has kind of struggled a little bit as of late, but back-to-back wins in conference has got them feeling nice. And then you're at home for the first time since all the way back in September, so it's going to be nice to play in front of your home crowd again against FIU.
I mean, this is all across college football, but this is a top-heavy league. Kennesaw got a big win last night against UTEP. They're 4-0. Jacksonville State wins tonight. They're 4-0. Western Kentucky's not far behind at 4-1. Missouri State, if they win, they're 3-1. Liberty, a huge shock. They're 3-4 overall, but 2-1 in the league. This is going to get really hairy down the stretch there in CUSA. That's what I'm saying, everyone. Watch college football, because it's not just the SEC and the Big Ten that are top heavy and everyone. You got 8 teams fighting for 2 spots. This is in every conference. Right now.
Well, and the Conference USA has taken over that Tuesday spot at least up to this point. I think we get MAC starting next week, but but it's been great. I mean, you'll turn on a Western Kentucky Delaware game in the middle of the week, and it's a great game. Like I'm excited for this FIU Missouri State game. I know that they're going to put on a good one. Not sure about that Jacksonville State one because MTSU has struggled a lot this year, but I mean, you're going to get some good ball games out of them.
Yeah, already speaking of Kennesaw beat UTEP at home. James Madison, who is a sneaky team, watch out, coming out of the Sun Belt. They won big, 52-20. They're 52-20. They're 7-1. Their only loss at Louisville. That was a pretty close game. And you look at these scores. There's only a couple. I think of all their wins, only one of them's by 1 score, and that was at Georgia State middle of the season. Their next game is at Marshall next weekend.
That's going to be a big one.
A new game or noon there, and then we got App State, Washington State coming to them.
Yeah.
So that could be a good statement. Then they go to Coastal. So Washington, if Marshall can win tomorrow, which I hope they do, that could boost things up a little bit. Now, speaking of Thursday, got some more Sun Belt. Marshall's at Coastal Carolina. The Herd 5.5-point favorites there. Then Tulane, another one of the group of 5 teams to look out. They're going to UTSA, who's really struggled. As of late, they've kind of fallen off. They're only 4.5-point favorites going into the Alamo Dome.
Yeah, I talked about this game earlier, and I said that it's probably going to be a game where these 2 head coaches are not at these schools next year. Jeff Traylor, one of the guys that's kind of been waiting for that next big job to open, and then John Summerall is going to be able to go wherever he wants at this point.
But Traylor's going to get fired.
Probably, he's struggled as of late, but I do think he's going to be one of those guys that could be getting a new job coming up soon.
Yeah. Let's move ahead to the Friday games. 25th ranked Memphis, 13.5-point favorites at Rice. not exactly the toughest
Yeah.
place to play. I think the Tigers, but we thought the same thing going into UAB. See what happened there. Then you got North Carolina at Syracuse, the Orange, 2.5-point favorites. You know, North Carolina looked great against Virginia, but we always know when you have a team that struggles like that, struggled all year, but they put together a great performance that doesn't reciprocate
Yeah.
the next week. More than likely, Syracuse covers and then some in that game. And then we got some more Conference USA, Louisiana Tech and Sam Houston. Poor Sam Houston.
Yeah.
They were in the CUSA race a year ago. Right now, 0-7, 0-4. And if you combine that up, that's 11, and that's more than the people that are in the stands at their football games
Yeah.
every week.
I about to say they've had a rough season. Louisiana Tech, they've been an interesting team this year because they're usually one of the more, I don't want to say bottom feeders, but they're typically usually further to the bottom in CUSA, and they've been a competitive team this year. Lost 2 in a row, but they've had to go on the road and play Kennesaw and play Western Kentucky in their last 2 games. I think they'll get back on a roll down here down the stretch.
We'll see what happens. Just got to get 2 more wins to get bowl eligible. Now let's go to the Saturday slate. West Virginia at Houston. The Cougars 13.5-point favorites. Mountaineers are starting to figure a few things out offensively, but I think the Cougars are going to cover in this game. Mike always has better hopes for my Mountaineers than I do, but like I said last week against TCU when they gave up an opening drive field goal, I said, hey, if they can just hold them to field goals, I guarantee they'll cover the spread. And they did.
And that's exactly what they
did.
did.
But they still lost.
Yeah, and they've struggled. I think this is one that they'll be able to keep in front of them. Obviously, I mean, Houston, they're 7-1 and have been really good this year, but they're a slow team. They nickel and dime you all night. Yeah. So I think that they're one of those teams that could be a sneaky team looking for an upset.
This could be a
I would say this would be the most
trappable trap game.
Exactly, because everybody is kind of looking over West Virginia this year.
For all the right reasons.
It could be a sneaky one.
Yeah, because they're at UCF, home versus TCU at Baylor. So that might be the one I hope they overlook. At least we can cover. Let's go to in the Big Ten. Who would have thought that Penn State at Ohio State would not be a marquee game that we're watching on Saturday? But that's where we are. Buckeyes 20.5-point favorites at home.
Yeah, Penn State is the epitome of a team that. I've said it with Georgia this year. They should be 3-4 right now. Well, Penn State is that epitome. They are 3-4 right now. They've lost the games that they shouldn't lose, but this one has a strange feeling about it. And I don't think Penn State will win, but I think it's going to be another one of those ugly ones that's like 17-14. I think that Ohio State will win, but I think it's going to be very competitive. I think that team's got a lot to fight for, just because of how bad the past couple of weeks have been.
I'm with you. I don't think the Buckeyes cover here. It definitely has that weird. They're a traditional program that we kind of overlook them, and we're just kind of moving on the next week because, and we've said this, Mike, Ohio State really doesn't have a signature win, and it doesn't like they've got a chance to get one until they go to Michigan.
The last game of the season. Yeah, I would say Ohio State have been blessed with their Big Ten schedule this year. You look at their conference games, they've got, Washington, who they're an all right team. Minnesota, not that impressive.
Yeah.
Wisconsin, not very good. Illinois, all right. But Penn State, not very good this year. Purdue, not very good this year. UCLA, I don't know which team's going to walk out of the tunnel. Rutgers, not very good. And then Michigan. Michigan has their number. But other than that, I mean, they've been blessed with their schedule this year.
And you talk about they could be an 11-1 team, and we're all going, well, who did you beat?
Who did you beat?
That Texas win isn't looking that great. Speaking of, Vandy is at Texas. The Longhorns 2.5-point favorites here. We don't know if Archer's going to play.
Yep.
We do know what you're going to get in Vanderbilt. I mean, that's kind of been settled. Home or away, you know what you're going to get out of Vanderbilt. They're going to be scrappy. They're going to rely on Diego Pavia to make a lot of big plays out there. Texas's defense is going to be tough, but Vandy just knows how to play every single. They can win in shootouts. They can win in one-possession games. Their defense can bend but don't break, and your defense doesn't have to bend a lot against Texas.
I would say, and Texas defense has been very similar the past couple of weeks, bend but not break. It broke a little bit versus Mississippi State last week. I think this is a great game to start the day because you got two teams that still have everything right in front of them. But a loss here for Texas probably going to end their playoff hopes. And then Vandy, if they suffer a loss here, then they're at the point where they can't lose another game, and they have 3 tough ones down the stretch.
Yeah. What's another game in that slate? 11. We got a lot of good ones. 11 a.m. Miami at SMU. Hurricanes 12.5-point favorites. It's 11 a.m. in Dallas as well. Mike,
I don't.
I'm liking the Mustangs.
Yeah, I do
really,
too.
I
This
don't
one.
know why, but just Miami the last 2 weeks, the loss to Louisville, the super slow start to Stanford. Something is just telling me this has got Mustangs all written all over it.
And I think SMU might have been looking ahead last week. They did not look very good last week against Wake Forest. Had some shaky looks. Their defense looked good though, and it was one of the first times this season we've seen their defense look good. I think that going into a game against a team like Miami, who's got the offense that they do, could bear well for them.
Yeah, I not only do I like the Mustangs to cover, I like the Mustangs to win in this game. I really do. I would say Duke and Clemson would be one to look out for, but let's be real.
Yeah,
has,
this doesn't have any postseason implications.
Duke has to have a ton to go for them for them to even be considered for the ACC championship game. Moving on down the schedule, Arizona State, Iowa State might be a little bit tricky. Arizona's still alive in the Big 12, but the way things are shaking out, that looks like that's BYU and Texas Tech's lead.
And then Arizona
right
State,
now.
Sam Levitt's out this game. He's been a walking boot again. He's been battling that ankle injury, so I don't think that one will bode well for Arizona State. We saw how bad it went the last time he missed a game.
Going to the 2 o'clock slate, Louisville at Virginia Tech. Louisville 11.5-point favorites here. They're still very much not only alive in the ACC picture, but in the playoff picture. Virginia Tech got a big win last week against Cal. The times they figured things out offensively, then it doesn't translate defensively, and then it's vice versa.
Yeah.
They kind of put some things together and had a really good win against Cal, come from behind and win. But I don't know, this at the 2 o'clock, which is 3 o'clock Eastern there in Blacksburg, something just tells me Louisville goes in there. This is a 3-touchdown win.
They need one because they struggled last week with Boston College, only beat them 42-28. They need a game where their defense shows up on the same night as their offense for Louisville.
Indiana at Maryland. They're giving the Hoosiers 22.5 here. This is that typical Big Ten. You're ranked in the top 5, and you go to Maryland game.
Yeah.
That feels like it's a shootout that's going to go into overtime.
I would say that one.
How many times Michigan's had that happen?
Ohio State,
Penn State's
yeah.
been in that boat. Now it's Indiana. This has that feel to it.
You go to Maryland in late November or late October, early November. They're a tough team to play. Their record might not be the best, and they've been on a bit of a losing streak. But this team's got good players. They've got good coaches. I don't think that they'll win, but I do think that they have a very good shot to cover.
Yeah, they can definitely cover for sure. As I keep, I'm looking at. I hate the blank screen, so I put football games behind our heads here, and I'm watching this Summertown game, and another Riverside kid makes a great play. Speaking of, in that 2:30 window, Georgia at Florida. Georgia, 7.5-point favorites here, and we talked about it earlier this week. How many times have we said this about teams? We don't know which team is going to show up.
Yeah.
We don't know. And Bryant said it yesterday. Florida tends to play to the level of their competition.
They have all year.
Neutral site game. They could cover this, and I wouldn't put it past them to win this either.
Yeah, world's largest outdoor cocktail party is always a good one. It doesn't matter how good Florida or Georgia is. They always put together a good matchup. It was a great one last year until DJ Lagway went down. Carson Beck struggled in that one. But it's a lot of new this year. DJ Lagway, it looks like he's gotten over the ankle injuries. Florida's offense is starting to pick up the last couple of weeks. Georgia, on the other hand, though, has been slowly getting through these games. They've been dragging along until the fourth quarter. I think Florida is the team that, out of that bunch that they've played recently, could get them in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because Florida, as long as they're still in it late in games, because they've gotten to points where they've had to come back. Obviously, that Mississippi State game, if their defense needs to stop late in the fourth, they can get it. I like Florida to cover, but they could win this one outright.
Yeah, and they absolutely could. And Georgia kind of tends to play down to the level of their competition.
They've done it all year.
But, they can play up to the level of their competition. They can bounce back and forth.
I would say they're a lot like Florida, but not in a good way.
Yeah, they can do a lot of different things. Notre Dame at Boston College, Irish 28.5-point favorites.
Probably cover.
Probably cover. Never know. But offensively, they need style points because they're outside of Navy. They're not going to pick up a big, impressive win. Navy's not even ranked. How? They're undefeated. I don't get it. But they need to go in there. They not only need to cover, they need to win by 40 just to get some style points.
Yeah, but I do think with Mike Denbrock and that offense that they are a team that has the ability to go and put style points out against these lower level teams.
Texas Tech at Kansas State, Red Raiders, 7.5-point favorites on the road there in Manhattan. Teams have played pretty good in Manhattan so far this year in the early part of the season, but Kansas State is really starting to figure some things out. They've won back-to-back games. They win at home against TCU pretty comfortably, then win at Kansas pretty comfortably. They had a really good win home against UCF, and then tripped up there against Baylor. When you look at their losses, 3 points to Iowa State, 3 points to Army, 6 to Arizona State, and 1 to Baylor.
Yeah. I mean,
You're
they're
not,
right there.
You're not going to bomb this team
No.
by any stretch of the imagination.
I would say Chris Kleeman's a great coach, and I think that this could be one Kansas State. I like them to cover in this one. Texas Tech is down to their third-string quarterback. They've struggled. They've had some injury problems this year, and they're starting to catch up to them late in the season. And then Kansas State, on the contrary, is getting some of those unhealthy guys back healthy. And, his stats haven't blown anybody away this year, but Avery Johnson's at like 18 touchdowns, maybe 2 interceptions. He's not turned the ball over as much, and that's what's kept the Wildcats in all these games.
If they can keep winning games, because if you beat Texas Tech, that puts them down there 4-2 with you. You'd still need a lot of things to break right, and you need BYU or Cincinnati to win twice. Anything could happen. I'm not downplaying the potential of that happening. It's still an outside shot,
But it could.
I mean, they've all 4 of their losses by combined 13 points.
Yep. They're right there.
You're going to have to step on their neck and break it to beat this group. ACC Pitt, they're at Stanford, which is I'm doing the math. That's going to be an 11:30 kickoff for them.
Yep.
Over there at Stanford. Pitt has played great. Now, they're 4-1 right now in the ACC, 15.5-point favorites there, but that doesn't mean anything because Stanford's playing everyone good. At this point, they've won 4 in a row, beat Boston College by 41, won at Florida State by 3, beat Syracuse at Syracuse by 17, and just bombed NC State 53-34. They made that change at quarterback. Pitt right now is sitting in 3rd in the ACC. If a Virginia trips up or Georgia Tech trips up,
They're right there.
Pitt's right there. And they get Georgia Tech at Georgia Tech in 2 weeks. Pitt's also got Notre Dame. Pitt, after Stanford ends with 12th-ranked Notre Dame at 8th-ranked Georgia Tech, home versus 10th-ranked Miami.
Yeah,
They win out.
They could. They're in.
They're in.
I would say that's
with that level.
Yeah,
of
I would say they're a 2-loss team right now. They could easily find their way into the big ACC championship game. And Stanford's a good team that they can bomb over the top. Their quarterback has been excellent since they benched Eli Holstein. I like Pitt to roll in this one.
I mean, anything could happen.
Yes.
As much as I hate it.
And hey, what's one of those 2 losses right there for the?
I think they're on the desk.
Yeah, right there.
You can say, hey, we had a win against a playoff team.
Exactly.
Other teams are struggling to beat Power 4 opponents. We've got one against a really good team. Unfortunately, the other guy was a quarterback at the time. We're not going to bring that up. Not at all. Scrolling on down, Fresno State of Boise State's kind of interesting. Boise's undefeated, but they're 6-2. More than likely, that group of 5 teams coming out of the American there. Speaking of going to West Coast Virginia at Cal, they're only giving the Cavaliers 4.5 points there at Cal.
Well, you look at these 2 teams have one similar opponent that they've played pretty recently, and it's North Carolina. Both of these teams struggled against the Tar Heels. I'm actually curious to see how this one goes because I think it's going to be a close one.
Yep.
I would say now, if the general consensus, I think Virginia is a much better team than Cal. But I mean, you give them an afternoon kickoff, it could be fun over there.
It could be very fun. You look at Virginia's remaining schedule, and then they're home versus Wake Forest at Duke, home versus Virginia Tech.
Not easy,
but there's no reason they shouldn't be an 11-1 at the end of the year,
no
still
doubt.
undefeated in the ACC. But trip up that one time and Pitt continues to rack up good win after good win, you're in a whole lot of trouble. Kind of won the note in the SEC. Mississippi State is at Arkansas, battle of 0-4 teams. So someone's getting out of the cellar. Razorbacks 4.5-point favorites.
I would say both of these teams have gone a while without an SEC conference win. These are, I think there's going to be a ton of points in this one. These are 2 of the worst defenses in the conference, 2 of the better offenses. I would say I think this one's got shootout written all over it. As the 2:00 game on the 3:00 game on the SEC network should be a fun one.
Going to the night games, Mike, South Carolina at Ole Miss. The Rebels 12.5-point favorites there. Again, it's another which South Carolina shows up. And honestly, I don't know which South Carolina shows up. I still think Ole Miss wins. Ole Miss covers. It might take them to the very end to cover in that game, but I don't know. There's something that this feels, because South Carolina had the tough loss to Bama, then they go on a tear.
Yes.
this might be that tear game, even though I'm not really confident that that's going to happen.
Well, out of all the games South Carolina lost last year, the 3 regular season games they lost, Ole Miss was the only team that really kind of shut them up. I think it was like 34-3 or 34-10. It was a big win, and this one being at Ole Miss with as much momentum as they got right now, I'm going to take the Rebels in this one big.
Michigan State at home versus Purdue. Wolverines 21.5-point favorites. I think
They'll handle that one.
Not much to talk about there. Georgia Tech and NC State. Mike, how many times have I said you never want to go to Carter Finley Stadium ever?
Yeah, much less
Ever.
at night.
At night, just ask Virginia. That's Virginia's lone loss. It wasn't a conference loss.
Nope.
But that's their lone loss, and that's where Georgia Tech is going. Just 5.5-point favorites to a team that's 1-3 in the ACC.
I would say you look, NC State, some of their biggest wins of the season have come at home. They got a chance to get one against Georgia Tech right here. I feel like this Georgia Tech team has been tripping and waiting to fall. NC State could be a team to actually get them to actually fall down.
Only thing is, man, NC State can't stop the run.
Nope.
The defense isn't good. Offense can put up points, but there's just something about
And Georgia Tech's defense is just their offense can wear you down on defense so easily.
They just beat you and beat you and beat you. USC and now at Nebraska, Trojans 6.5-point favorites. Mike, I think that's Cornhuskers.
I do too.
All the way.
I would say I've really liked them ever following that loss to Minnesota. They've realized that they're a run first team. Dylan Raiola, he's been fine, but he's been slow through the middle parts of the season. Emmett Johnson's top 10 in the country in rushing yards. I think he has another big game right here in this one.
Kentucky at Auburn. Auburn 10.5-point favorites there. Again, another bat. We've got the bottom of the SEC facing off this
I would say we're really
How
gonna.
random is that?
Yeah.
But my God, I like Kentucky.
Yeah,
I shouldn't, but I like Kentucky.
Their pass offense looked really good in this one against Tennessee last week. Auburn has kind of struggled in the pass defensive game. But Auburn, I can't remember his name. I think it was Jarquez Hunter last year. Had like 290 yards or something crazy like that in this game for Auburn. But I'm kind of with you. I like Gunnar Boley had a really good game last week.
And they look good against Texas. Even though they didn't score a lot of points. They did score a lot of points against Tennessee. They couldn't stop anyone. But Auburn kind of just runs the same 5 or 6, 7 plays. It's not that hard to diagnose. This could be a 24-20 down to the stretch game. Maybe some controversial calls.
Probably. I mean, knowing Auburn, there probably will be one in there somewhere. And boy, I think for their sake, they hope they win just so they don't have to complain about the refs another week. So I'll take Auburn. I like the new quarterback and how that's kind of changed things down there.
Before we get to the Tennessee game, Cincinnati, Utah. It's a ranked Big 12 matchup. Utah's not out of it in the Big 12, even though we kind of diagnosed that with Kansas State. But this is huge for Cincinnati. They got to go on the road really late at night. That's actually a 10:15 Eastern game for the Bearcats. Utah 10.5-point favorites here. Cincinnati has proven to be tough no matter who they play. However, Utah at night is
it's a different animal. Yeah,
completely different animal.
And Cincinnati doesn't have that big ranked win yet on the road. They beat Kansas on the road, just got by them, and beat Oklahoma State on the road. That's their only 2 trips away from Nippert. So I don't know about this one. I'm a really big fan of their quarterback. I think if Sorsby can have a big game for them, he can probably put his name in the Heisman race. Yeah. And 2, I think that would solidify Cincinnati as a playoff team.
Now let's get to that game over in Neyland Stadium between ranked opponents in the SEC. You've got,
and we'll both be there.
Yeah, we'll both be there. Yeah,
be a fun one.
Yeah, if we end up in the same section somehow, I don't know how that happened. But we'll both be there. Tennessee 3.5-point favorites here in this game against Oklahoma.
Yeah, I would say you hear the talk all week. Oklahoma's offense isn't any good. Tennessee's defense isn't any good. I don't care about that side of the ball. I want to see Tennessee's offense versus Oklahoma's defense. Oklahoma's defense struggled last week against Ole Miss. Trinidad Chambliss was able to create stuff with his legs, and Kwan Lacey had a big game too. If Tennessee can put up over 35 points, I like them in this one. I don't think Oklahoma has enough of an offense to put one up because I think what's going to happen in this one is Tennessee's rush defense has gotten a lot better over the past couple of weeks. I think it's going to force Oklahoma to be a team through the air. I don't know if Mateer can throw the ball more than 30 times in a game. And at that, down the field.
His tackles can protect him. Which,
yes.
Tennessee leads the country and leads the SEC in sacks. Mateer spent a lot of this past Saturday on his backside.
And he might be doing that again.
A true freshman, and this Tennessee Honestly, I think Tennessee covers, and they cover in a pretty dominant way.
Yeah, I would say I really do like Tennessee in this one. It's New England. It's at night. It's dark mode. It's going to be crazy in there. I don't know if Oklahoma will be able to handle that.
Yeah, I'm with you with that one, Mike. Well, coming up next, we are going to take a look at the slate in the NFL. That will be when we return here on Exports Today.
Are you looking for the perfect refrigerator? What about a new stove or washer or dryer? It only makes sense to shop at the one place that specializes in appliances, top to bottom, big or small. And that's Kelly Appliance in Lawrenceburg. Kelly Appliance is home to all major name brands, including LG. LG makes life good with a full selection of refrigerators, cooking appliances, dishwashers, microwaves, and more, including appliances made right here in Tennessee. Family owned and family operated. Stop by Kelly Appliance on Jerry Street in Lawrenceburg today.
Jack Davis Insurance, located at 201 West Gain Street in Lawrenceburg, has you covered through life's obstacles. Jack Davis specializes in group insurance for businesses and institutions of all sizes. With coverage for life, accidents, cancer, critical illness, short-term disability, dental, and vision, Jack Davis can customize a plan to meet every need. Now available Medicare plans for seniors. Contact Paige Davis at 931-492-9284 today for Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, and prescription drug plan insurance. Serving Lawrence and surrounding counties since 1987, call the team at Jack Davis Insurance today at 931-242-5225.
There's a reason owners Tyler and Cindy McDowell chose the name In Service for their towing business. They did because it's their goal to be in service for you on the day that you need them the most. In-Service Towing is now known far and wide for their response time because minutes matter when you're broken down. Or their 24/7 availability, you can call them anytime for service. Their professional team with years of experience and their fairness, plus their know-how in dealing with the unexpected. But the thing that In-Service is known best for is how they treat their customers, and that's like family. When you need them, call them 931-843-9098.
A moment in real estate with my dad, Jeff Hood.
You know, I get asked a lot about what the market's going to do. How's the real estate market? I've been selling real estate for a long time, and nobody has a crystal ball. And you know what? When it's your time to buy or your time to sell, it really doesn't matter what the market's doing. It's your time, and you have to do something maybe. What makes a difference is the agents and the experience that go to work for you. We're Keller Williams Hood Company, located here in Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. We can help.
Hood Company, powered by Keller Williams, the #1 name in real estate.
Hey, this is Phil Hooper. Get the look you want for your favorite school, church, or business with apparel from HD Ink Screen Printing in Leoma, Tennessee. Got a logo you need embroidered or screen printed? Let HD Ink give you the professional look that sets the bar in today's world. We do fundraisers and custom designed apparel and so much more. Call today, 931-201-2961, or come see us at our new shop located at 26 Ingram Road in Leoma. Remember, HD Ink for the look you want and the look you deserve.
Going the distance with local sports. This is the X Sports Network.
Welcome back to X Sports Today. AJ Good here with Michael Marks. Mike, we're going to look at the NFL here in week number 9. Wow, it's gone by fast, really, really fast. Let's look at Thursday night. Ravens at the Dolphins. Looks like Lamar Jackson, is he going to be back?
I would say I think he's questionable still, but I would lean towards him being back in this one because listen, if they want any chance at making the postseason, they got to start winning now. Yeah. And at Miami is a great opportunity to get that first win and try to start a little bit of a roll because, I mean, coming off a win Sunday against the Bears, short week, but you're not playing it's not like you're playing the Patriots or the Colts or the Chiefs. You're playing the Dolphins.
And they are 7.5-point favorites there, but the Dolphins kind of put
their
a lot
offense
of stuff together at Atlanta.
Yeah, I would say these are two teams that have been subpar through the first quarter of the season and are now trying to pick things up as you get to the middle parts. I honestly don't know who to go for in this one, but if the Ravens do get Lamar back, I'll take Baltimore.
I don't know. I'm leaning Miami.
Yeah.
This is something the Jets winning there is a bad team, lost to Miami.
Well, that's the thing. Is like in college football, there is zero continuity whatsoever. In the NFL, you get a little more of that. Yeah. So I would say maybe it is smart to lean a little closer towards the Dolphins.
We'll go to the noon 1 o'clock games. 49ers at the Giants. They're giving the Niners 2.5 points there, but without Cam Scatterbo.
Yeah.
kind of the heart and soul of that team. I think the 49ers win and win comfortably there.
I do too. I mentioned it earlier this week when we talked about the Giants with Scadaboo's injury. That feels so deflating for them as a team, because while his stats weren't anything to go home about, it was a confidence thing. It made the team feel cool, feel young, and after he went out, the Eagles took control of that one, and I like the Niners to do the same.
Bears at the Bengals. Joe Flacco 50-50. We don't know who's going to start a quarterback there, but that loss to the Ravens ended the Bears' 4-game win streak. Caleb Williams looked awful.
Yeah.
They're kind of relying on the run game. They're trying their best to kind of take it out, the ball kind of out of Caleb's hands a little bit, but the Bengals, they're subject to a lot of trade rumors.
Yes.
Looks like they're trying to push Hendrickson out the door.
After you just gave him all that money.
You gave him all that money, now you're going to try to dump him, and you'll have to eat the bulk of that salary on top of all that as well. They've given Chicago 2.5 points here, but I just don't have confidence in Caleb Williams.
Yeah, and
nor do I have confidence in the Bengals, but I just don't like the Bears on the road in any situation.
Yeah, I would say, what do you take here, Caleb Williams or the Bengals defense? Because one of those is going to have to lean one way to determine the outcome of this one.
Yeah.
I'd lean towards the end of the Bears getting things figured out on offense, because the Bengals' rush defense has been one of the worst parts about it, and I think that would open up the pass game more. So I'm going to go with the Bears in this one.
Vikings at the Lions. Lions 9.5-point favorites. The Vikings with Carson Wentz are just a train wreck.
Yeah.
And the Lions are just
They've
just figured some things out, and they'll cover for sure.
Yeah, and all those people that were talking about how bad the Lions are going to be since they lost both their coordinators in the offseason look a little silly right now, because they're still just as good.
Yeah, exactly. Panthers at the Packers. That's an interesting one. Packers 13.5-point favorites, but man, the Bills made Carolina look awful last week.
Yeah, and Green Bay's got a coaching staff with Matt LaFleur that could do the exact same thing to you. I'm going to say Carolina's going to have to watch out, get their defense ready in this one, because if not, it could be the Jordan Love show again.
Chargers at the Titans. They're giving LA 9.5 points there in Tennessee. We've seen the Chargers go on the road against a bad team and lose before.
Yes, they did
this season
to New York.
It's the Titans.
Yeah, I would say. Did you see Clay Travis's idea to kill the national debt? Was he just put the $39 trillion all on the Chargers to cover this weekend against the Titans, and we're fine? I would do that I would do that as well. Yeah, the Titans are a buzzsaw. I feel bad every, I think it's Tuesday nights. Turn it on, and Taylor Zarzour is sitting there doing the Titans live show on ABC, and boy, that's just a lifeless show right now. It's hard.
It's not his fault.
No, it's not him at all.
Not his
it's
fault.
The product on the field.
Falcons at the Patriots are giving New England 5.5 points here. I like New England. I like them to cover, but if the right Falcon team shows up, New England might be lucky to beat them by a touchdown.
Yeah, they're one of those teams like the Panthers that you don't know if it's going to be the really good Falcons that show up or the one that got smoked 30-0 by Carolina. Right. The Patriots have been very consistent this year. You knew what you were getting out of Mike Vrabel, and this is the exact team you thought you would see. Maybe not in year one, maybe a year two or three build, but man, he has got that team rolling. Drake May looks like one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. I like the Patriots.
Colts at the Steelers. They're giving the Colts 3.5 points. So, wow. I mean, we got a lot of noon, 1 o'clock games. But, again, I like the Colts here a lot because I just don't trust the Steelers' defense. They're too old. They're too inconsistent. And Daniel Jones and that offense with Jonathan Taylor have just found something.
Yeah.
And it's just wreaking havoc on everyone in the NFL right now.
Yeah, I remember in week one it was the first time you saw Carly Ursay on the sidelines, and she was writing down all the play calls and stuff like that, and everybody clowned her for it. Yeah. Colts have the best record in football right now, and I think that's a big part behind it. But also, you got Jonathan Taylor, probably the NFL MVP at tailback. Daniel Jones has found a second gear. Yeah. This offense looks really good, and that defense has been one of the more surprising things in the NFL this year. Yeah. I like the Colts big in this one.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong. I don't think she's a hindrance.
No.
I think
she's standing off to the side observing.
Yeah, and she just wants to understand the game, and she's not trying to create a controversy, which I like. She's riding that fine line of too involved or not involved enough, and she's just riding that line. Enough to be seen, but not enough to be heard.
I about to say, she's trying to help her team get better without being in the center of things. Take notes, Jerry Jones.
Yeah. Denver at Houston. They're giving Houston a 1.5, and I think the Texans have figured some things out here, Mike. They really have, and I think this is not a good spot for Denver to be in.
Yeah, you look at Houston early in the season, it was their offense. It was just so slow, couldn't get anything going. Past 3 weeks, 44 points against the Ravens, 19 against the Seahawks, struggled in that one, but 26 against the 49ers. I think they figured things out. Denver is another team that has been kind of a surprise this season. Bo Nix has been really good for them. But I don't know, something about the Texans the past couple weeks. They just feel like they have a ton of momentum.
Of all four of their losses have been by one score. So it's not like they're getting blown out by any shape of the imagination. Jacksonville at the Raiders are giving the Jags here 3.5. The Jags are kind of fading away a little bit, but the Raiders are just a train wreck of epic proportions. If it wasn't for Tennessee, we'd be talking about how bad the Raiders are right now.
Yeah, I would say they're lucky they had the Titans on the schedule that early in the season. And this second experiment of Pete Carroll in the NFL is just not going well. Now, I don't think it can be totally on him. One, it's with the Raiders, so Mark Davis still owns the team. And it's just, they don't really have much. I mean, Geno Smith, he's not having a good year whatsoever. Ashton Genty, but you don't have an offensive line. They have a couple of players, but they need a team to win this one.
Absolutely. Saints at the Rams. They're giving the Rams 14.5. Saints starting Tyler Shuck, so it looks like Spencer Rattler and that experiment has been dealt with.
The fact that it took them till week 9 to do this is amazing. I mean, you could have watched one game of both of those guys in college and told you who was going to be better. Tyler Shuck, I think he's 26, I believe, but he's a new guy, so it probably won't be a great first game against that Rams defense. But I think he could end up being a long-term quarterback for the Saints. I really do.
Chiefs at the Bills. That's the prime time game. They're at 3:25 our time, 4:25 Eastern, and giving Kansas City a 1.5. They've really figured a lot of things out. However, they haven't really done it great on the road. The Bills are 3-1 at home this year.
Yeah, I would lean towards the Chiefs in this one if the Bills hadn't just done what they did to Carolina. I mean, 40-9. You went from I saw a thing on X the other day, and it was talking about you went from, I don't remember who their old offensive coordinator was that had the freak out and the meltdown in the
it's Ken Dorsey.
Yeah, Ken Dorsey, and then you go to you have Joe Brady now packing his carry-on bag in the booth. So I like Buffalo in this one, but man, how is this one not Sunday Night Football?
Exactly. Well, speaking of Sunday Night Football, Seahawks at Commanders. The they've had the sophomore slump. I think we all kind of saw that coming just with how tough the schedule is. Seattle 3.5-point favorites offensively. They've been pretty good, and they're 3-0 away from home this year.
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny game because the Seahawks, I don't know what their expectations were overall going in, but I don't think they saw themselves at 5-2 at this point in the season. They're coming off a bye week. They're going to be well rested. Again, Washington's had that sophomore slump out of Jaden Daniels, and their offenses look good, but their defense has struggled to get some stops for Washington. I like Seattle in this one.
Yeah. Then Monday Night Football, Arizona at the Cowboys. Cowboys 2.5-point favorites. This has a 20-18 feel all over.
I would say these are two teams that I would say the Cowboys you would say are more of an offensive team. They don't have a defense that can stop anything, but this feels like an ugly game. Just one where one quarterback has 2 picks, another one has a pick and a fumble. It feels like one of those.
All right, Mike, let's go to our favorite game. What is the cheapest game to get into this week? And we got 2 games battling down to the wire to be the cheapest game this week.
My first guess is... The first one's going to be Saints-Rams. I feel like that one's got to be pretty low.
It's 53, but it's not the lowest.
Okay. I'll go with another one of the big stadiums, Cardinals Cowboys.
That is the cheapest. It's $16.
Man.
Not far behind. If you guys want to go to Nashville this weekend.
Really?
That is $20 to get into.
Oh, I guess there's probably not going to be a whole lot of people from LA flying in to come to this one. Maybe when the Titans get that new stadium, there'll be some people coming to take a visit. But right now, there's not much of a reason to go to that one.
No, not much of a reason. It's just kind of wild.
Yeah.
Kind of wild. Everything that's
$16.
$16 to get into that game. Kind of crazy.
And that's the price of a beer at a college game or something. I mean, that's insane.
$16 to get into. Well, Mike, that will do it here for X Sports today. No show the next couple of days. We've got high school football all three of our teams in action. We have our Alabama game of the week that's going on tomorrow night. We've got UT Southern, the men and women's or first round in the Southern States Conference tournament. That's going on tomorrow, so no show. And then we've got trick or treating.
Yep.
We're both going to Knoxville, not together at the same time, going at the same time. So no shows the next couple of days. So everyone we will have our preview, our high school football preview that will air tomorrow afternoon. So for Mike Marks, this is AJ Good. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Going the distance with local sports. This